Hi. Once again, hi, I'm Evemai, and in this video, I would like to go over the topics for each of the days in this week's theme, which is surrendering to the occasion of change. So, today is January 11th, 2025, and the day is Soul Searching Saturdays. So within that, we'll look at how the surrendering of excuse me, I'm not reading my notes very well, but that's okay. Let's go back. Okay, so how do we find the polaric balance of the I-ness or the soul within the process of surrendering to the occasion of change? And how do we create rapid reversals of fortune through actions and the knowledge gained through the integration of the shadow soul, the life energy? So that would be the topic for today. Tomorrow is Supportive Sundays, and that would be exploring the wisdom and fortune gained by flipping the burden of guilt and excuse me, I'm tripping over my words. It's been a while. I'm a little bit rusty since I've made any kind of videos, and I've been recently picking it back up, so please bear with me as I start to get the hang of it again. Okay, so tomorrow is Supportive Sundays, and it would be exploring the wisdom and fortune gained by flipping the burden of guilt accumulated to self-forgiveness, releasing and letting go of all things that burden the I-ness or the soul and hinders creativity and forward movement towards goals, dreams, and visions. And we could also touch on the subject of getting used to the ever-changing landscape of self-introspection and the creative wonders that become inspired manifestations within the world around us. Monday is Expansive Mondays. So it would be looking at expanding by allowing that which no longer supports growth to die and for a more expansive version of ourselves to be reborn. And another point would be reflecting on priorities in life, exploring all possibilities, and allowing the transformation to flow into place with a space for introspection and value reflection before the old endings cycle into the new beginnings. So Tuesday has always been a family day for me and my family. We've always done family activities. We've always done family gatherings and get-togethers, and we've gone to different community functions on Saturdays as a family. So that's why I just kind of named it Familia Tuesdays. Familia means family. And so looking at the family and what's going on within each individual, we are looking at navigating and surrendering to the paths of occasion of change with family and within family dynamics. And while seeking out higher levels of enlightened consciousness and expanding our conscious levels on our own, how do we accommodate other family members in non-judgmental and supportive ways while they are expanding through their own occasions of change? Remembering that there might be some thunderstorms along the way for all parties involved. And then breaking old routines and creating new ones that better suit each member of the familial unit. Then we have Wellness Wednesdays. The fertile abundance that comes from creating values for others and as a service to something greater than oneself. So how do we see that within the occasions of change? And also going into the internal self-reflection processes guides us to recognize the sacredness of oneself and the value of the individual conscious life, and therefore the knowing that everything is sacred, resulting in experiences of self-transcendence. And then also let go and allow the flow. That is one of the hardest things, but we can get into that on Wednesdays. This Wednesday, because that's the topic for this coming Wednesday. Every Wednesday, every day, every week we'll have a different theme and a different topic. And then we have Turning Thursdays. So within the context of surrendering to the occasions of change and turning the switch in a different direction, we can actively look at any circumstance present and create conditions needed to foster the success of the occurring changes so that they bring us beneficial outcomes. Also, by examining the world around us and collecting the information and the happenings, the interpersonal relationships, the conditions, the constant and repetitive feelings, thoughts, and desires, we can get a better look at what our internal processes are telling us about what we're feeling, thinking, and ultimately creating, and therefore we can start to consciously and intentionally graph and reconfigure our creation state and what, how, when, where, and why we choose to create what it is that we create. The next point would be, when going into a deep examination of our central core, we will definitely face some very dark aspects of ourselves. Maybe even some low aspects, also some high aspects. We will find some dark places that we never would ever want to admit to ourselves that are there, but they are, and that's okay. Once found, those places that live within of pain, sorrow, regret, guilt, remorse, shame, anger, resentment, repentance, rage, any one of those places. Plus also we're going to find some really good places we can find acceptance for, and we can forgive, heal, love, release, and find balance. And the key is unconditional love for ourselves. That's when we find that unconditional love for ourselves, that's when we'll find it for others as well. And it's a beautiful place. It is. It can bring up some difficulties, of course, but they are storms that we can ride and we can survive, and we'll be okay. We will be okay. So here it comes to the next point. Storms may come as we continue to examine, adjust, and expand evermore, and that is okay. When we allow ourselves the freedom of curious exploration and the scientific method of life, we can love ourselves along our process anyway, and therefore we can love others along their process also. And when I say, because I will say this often, the freedom of curious exploration and the scientific method of life, and the reason why I will say that often is because that has helped me to forgive myself on many different occasions and forgive others, because it's like having a toddler. You have a toddler and maybe they're going to make a mess, or they're going to get into this or get into that, or they're going to break something or whatever. But they are learning, and they learn by trying. It's that natural, it's the natural way of teaching them, to allow them to make mistakes. So we can also show ourselves love and allow ourselves to make mistakes and still love ourselves anyway. And when we can do that, then you know what? We have some really great family members. We have some really great friends. We have some really great people in our workplaces that also make mistakes. And maybe they're not mistakes. Maybe it's just a curious exploration. Maybe it's just a scientific method. In the laboratory, if you're going to make maybe a solution and you want this specific outcome for that solution, so you add these certain ingredients because you think it's going to create this type of outcome, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe the desired outcome that you were looking for doesn't happen. So what happens? Do you freak out? Do you get angry at yourself? Please don't. Because what are you going to do? You know what? Maybe if I add this solution or that solution, or I add whatever it is I'm going to add, maybe it'll change and make this other kind of effect. It's the same with life. You know what? Maybe you went out driving and I don't know, my car recently had the alternator went out and I got stuck. And somebody eventually came by to help me, and I got home and I thought it was the battery at first, and I tried to charge it and charge it and charge it and charge it. So there was a lot of kind of curious exploration until I found out that it was the alternator, and then I got it fixed. So those things we can allow for those processes within our lives and others. Okay, anyways, but that's on Thursday. But it's something so passionate for me because I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother and I love my children dearly, and that is how I was able to love myself and allow myself to expand. So it's something that's really dear to my heart, that process. Okay, let's go on to Friday. Friday is Flyaway Fridays, and by connecting to our internal guidance system, we can find our multifaceted makeup. So when I say that, I'm talking about like our DNA, our physicality. I'm talking about our emotions, our mentality, our psychology. I'm talking about our energy and our resonance. I'm talking about every single component that makes up our being, okay? So by connecting to our internal guidance system, we can find our multifaceted makeup, integrate the fragmented pieces, and honor the totality of who we are by creating from a place of wonder and curiosity, as opposed to coming from a place of judgment and ridicule, or even from a place of force, fraud, or coercion against ourselves and others during our expansion process. Today might be a good day, so I'm talking about Friday, to create something that is wanting to express itself through you, or you could possibly go on an outing that can connect you with your inspiration, your child from the past, your internal child, your internal self, your current self, and your future self as a creator with a playful heart that has recently been born and doesn't carry any of the heavy burdens of mystical notions, mysticisms, opinions, biases, judgments, delusions, illusions, and more. So Fly Away Fridays came about because I suddenly have Fridays free. Well, free from actually working outside for somebody else. And Fridays just kind of seemed like a furlough day, a day where to have activity, go on outings, or different things, just kind of figure out some things to do. And since connecting with the internal guidance system kind of seems like a fun thing to do, maybe going out on a hike, maybe going out to find something creative, something that can inspire the wonderment of the child inside of us, the adult inside of us, the creator inside of us, all discovering the multifaceted parts of ourselves and what each of them like and desire and need in order to be healthy and to thrive. So just finding different activities in the home or outside of the home, with a friend or by yourself or with a loved one or whatever, with a business partner, whoever it may be, or on your own. It's just for you to explore. This is your journey. Remember, your journey. I am not here to tell you how to do it. I'm just here to share some tools with you that have worked for me. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon.